Hey everyone, I'm back, and today we're going to be talking about The Host, and this movie is directed by Joon-ho, and it came out in 2006, and this is from the same director as Parasite from 2019, which I really love and can revisit anytime because I really love that movie. I've also seen Okja and Snowpiercer. Okja I thoroughly enjoyed. I wouldn't say it's like a masterpiece or anything, but I liked it. Snowpiercer, I just found to be really dull and didn't care for much at all. This movie, The Host, I thought was great. I really enjoyed it. The movie is pretty well shot throughout, and this movie also does have a couple different tones going on. At some points, it's a horror movie. Other points, it's very comedic, and other points, it's a drama. All those elements really work in this movie and do complement it. And this movie is also 2 hours long, and I personally didn't really feel the runtime for most of the movie. Maybe it could have been 10 minutes shorter, but it's not really a big criticism. And the special effects for 2006 looked pretty good, especially for the time. And I do feel as though they didn't overshow the creature in this movie, and I have seen the poster for this movie before, like a long time ago, back when it was like in a library. Don't ask how I stumbled upon it. And I've always seen that poster and was intrigued by it. I was like, this looks scary, creepy, but I don't quite know what this is. Here we are, 2024, like almost 20 years later. Well, probably closer to 15 is when I would have saw it at a library. I finally watched it, and I can definitely say I loved it. I don't know if I would have liked it back then, simply knowing that my tastes in movies were very different back then. Mostly because I wasn't exposed to like art films as I am now, which are films that I really enjoy. And anyways, getting a little off track with all that stuff. And also that's all I have to say about that kind of stuff. Going back to the movie, I do think that there are points in which the movie is a bit overexposed towards the beginning. Like, it just looks like I was looking at a bunch of white in that whenever it was outside, and it was just a bit distracting, and I'm not sure if it's just weather conditions, like you were just unlucky with the weather, or what. Maybe it was just the streaming service that I was watching on, that being Amazon Prime, and maybe it was just that going on, but it didn't look that great, honestly, in the beginning of the movie. Luckily for the rest of the movie, I didn't really have that issue, or at least not to my memory. But it's just that little section that kind of bugged me. And I'll say this, my favorite elements of this movie is whenever it's just characters talking for the most part. And despite me having issues with the exposure in the beginning, that first attack scene, or action scene, whatever you want to call it, I thought was pretty great and really well executed. And there was one really cool shot in it that worked pretty well. And also, the music in this movie was good. I found it to be complementary to all these different tones that were going on, like I've said already. And like in terms of that, the movie is having different tones going on. And the music always complements the movie. And there's a couple points where I noticed that they weren't using any music at all, and I like that about it. And I like what the movie does with our main character, and it was kind of funny. And the story overall was compelling, and I did like how certain characters in this movie were portrayed, and also I find each of these characters to be very likable, and you can get behind them, and you can at least understand who they are as people, and they feel like real people to me, or at least how they're portrayed. And the performances were great as well. I didn't have any issues there. And there's a point in the middle of the movie where characters are exploring sewers, and we do meet up two characters in the sewers like 45 minutes in, and those characters reminded me of Grave of the Fireflies, honestly. Not saying that as a bad thing, I'm just saying that's what it reminded me of. And that's about all I have to say about The Host. I thought it was great. It delivered exactly what I would have wanted. It was satisfying. It was engaging. Sure, there are points that are kind of cheesy and don't really work too well for me. Not because they're cheesy, but there are just points where I was more invested in other things than certain elements, like the monster stuff, with the exception of the first scene that we get that creature. After that point, it kind of just becomes less and less engaging for me because it's kind of just the same thing happening over and over again, and I was just more invested in what was going on with the characters and how the movie was dealing with all of that. That stuff was more engaging to me than the monster stuff, which I guess is a good thing, because if you don't care about the characters, then what's the point, really? So definitely check this movie out whenever you get the chance, especially if you're a fan of Bong Joon-ho films. And I think you'll thoroughly enjoy this one. So with all that being said, I'm going to give The Host from 2006 an 8 out of 10. Thank you for watching my videos. As always, if you enjoyed this review, be sure to leave a like and comment down below you thought of The Host, and my social media links. They will all be in the description, so follow me there. And last but not least, subscribe to be a part of Foley Nation, and I'll see you when I get my next review up, and that is going to be for The Legend of Hercules. So look forward to that, but until I get that up, thank you for watching and have a great day.